Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to discuss my workbench, or lack thereof, and how I'm going to get around it until the winter comes. I have for a while now been interested in the Kreg Universal Bench system, and here is a set of 14-inch. I haven't unboxed yet. I have a set of 44-inch here, and this is the leg assembly. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't normally do unboxings, and this really isn't going to be an unboxing. This is how Amazon managed to deliver this box to me. I just want to show you the level of silliness that I've been getting from Amazon lately. I mean, this thing is, I will be shocked if all the parts are in this box, but let's go ahead and chop it open and see what we got. I mean, that was all it took me to get it open. I mean, literally, the guy must have chucked this from the curb. I mean, it is just demolished. Yeah, see, little things like hardware, I'm sure I'm going to be missing some. Because this looks like the box that should have held it. You know, 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 feet. Okay guys, I'm fast forwarding through the rest of this little unboxing here. As it turns out, all the parts were there, so we were good. Amazon did a horrible job delivering that, but what the hell, we're going to live with it. It looks like I have all the parts. My guess is I'll be missing some hardware, but I could fight with them on that and probably just go get it at Home Depot for a couple bucks. It ain't worth the trouble of fighting with them. So what I'm doing here is I have planned for a long time to buy one of these benches, not for in here, but for down in the dungeon to make an outfeed table for my table saw. My table saw with its extension wing measures about 40 inches. This is a 44-inch setup. The neat thing about this universal bench system that Kreg makes is you can buy rails of any size. Well, not any. They have like, I want to say they have like 15 different sizes that you can get. So you can build your own bench size. You can go from 14 inches square and make a really small bench all the way up to, I want to say they have 64 inch lengths as well. So you can make a 64 by 64. I went with 44 by 14, and the leg assembly I got was the taller length leg assembly, which will allow me to make a 30-inch high bench. They also make a lower one. I didn't see a need for that. And they're adjustable. These pieces allow you to have 3 or 4 different height adjustments in the 30-inch range. So say 27 to 30 inches. I'm not sure. I'll let you know when we put it together. The top I'm going to put on this will be 2x4s, actually 2x6s, ripped down to 3 inches, turned on side and laminated together. I haven't completely decided on the width yet. I don't want it as wide as this table I have here. I think I'm going to go with about a 20 to 22 inch width. The vices that were on the old bench will go on this. This will be here for the rest of the summer into the spring. Sometime around January or February, I will build a proper bench for in here and we'll film it, and that'll be a good winter project. It's just not something I can do in the summer with all the other kinds of craziness going on that summer entails. I just want to get something in here quick that I can work on. So we're going to put this thing together, make a top for it, put it on here, put the vices on it, and run with it for about 4 or 5 months, and then we'll build something new. So I'm going to film me putting this together just without talk, and I'll show it to you. I'll put it up on the site and let you see it. And then I'll film, in a separate video, I'll film making a laminated top and putting it on this with the vices, and we'll test it and see how good it is. It may not be the greatest workbench in the world. I think it will be more than acceptable as the outfeed table for my table saw / an assembly table that I need down in the dungeon desperately. So when I put this up next to the table saw, it gets me the full width of the table saw, which is I think 30 inches, plus the 22 inches, and there'll be a gap where the motor is. I'll have almost a 6 foot by 4 foot tabletop area that can be an assembly table. You know, if I slide the fence all the way over and lower the blade, I could have the tabletop of the table saw with this. But that's in the future. For now, I'm going to just start putting this thing together. So I'll film that, you can watch it. Okay, welcome back. I gave the instructions a glance, took a look at this thing. Yeah, Coors Light, when you're assembling things and you got to read these crazy instructions, a beer's okay. Obviously with power tools you don't do that, but when you're putting one of these things together, it's okay. Step number one was to put the Kreg sticker on one of these things. So, on to step number two. We don't need that. Step number two is to assemble the two sides. And honestly, the instructions are pretty good, surprisingly. And while I'm doing this, let me tell you a little bit about how I purchased this. I did some research on the Kreg website, which is very good, by the way. They explain these things fairly well. And they have them priced on their website as different size tables. And the 44 by 14 table they had at one fixed price, which I don't remember what it was, but I actually procured all this stuff at Amazon, and Amazon sells it by piece. So you get the leg kit, you get the side kit, you get the front kit, the long rails, and if you want casters, you get the casters. All of those are separately, and I saved about 40 bucks buying it in pieces. And Amazon, in their wisdom, shipped all 3 boxes as 3 separate orders. Being a Prime member, I didn't pay a penny for shipping, and this stuff is heavy. So I think Amazon's the way to go for this. I will put a link to this stuff down in the description below. If you want to just buy it one stop, you can get it at the Kreg site, or they have links to places that sell it where it's one stop. You click one button, you don't have to figure the pieces out. It's not that hard. 14-inch rails, 44-inch rails, or 44-inch rails, and the leg assembly. The leg assembly is where all the hardware is. So you get the hardware with the leg assembly. I did not order the caster kit. A bench doesn't need casters. Because it's a separate item, when I put this thing in the basement, I may go ahead and order the casters then so that I can move the table around on the table saw. It did come with the leg assembly itself comes with 4 adjustable legs, so I didn't have to make an extra purchase for that. If I get the casters later, I still would have had these, so I'm not going crazy there. I don't have to worry about buying something extra. So step 2, basically, I'm going to just start putting these together. I'm not going to talk you through it. You'll just, I'll probably go into silent mode here and maybe I'll talk over this later, but I'm just going to start putting the thing together. Double check with the square. Looks good here. Looks good here. Okay. So what we have is one end of the bench completely done. I'm going to do the other one off camera. I'll come back and show you how I join the 2 rails, and that'll be the next thing we film. Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, we are going to now put the 2 long rails, which I have 4 of. Get 2 out of the way here. So basically we got the 2 ends put together. Here's the other one. So what we need to do is now connect them with the long rails. Alright, here we are fighting with the long rails. I'm going to be honest with you, this was probably a 2-person job. I struggled with this and got it done. It's the same exact process as the short rails. It's just they're a little longer and a little harder to deal with. I'm doing it on a small little table. It's actually a Kreg table as well, but it's the Kreg workbench. It's not the ultimate workbench like we're building. It's the foldable one. I guess you could say I'm kind of a Kreg fanboy. I guess that's true. I like their jigs as well. I did purchase all of this stuff myself, and I'm pretty happy with everything I've purchased from them so far, so life is good. I am kind of talking over this as I go here because, to be perfectly honest, this took me about 25 minutes to do the 4 long rails, and most of it was just the awkwardness of it. It really isn't difficult at all. I think 2 people could do these long rails in 5 minutes or less. It's just the matter of, you know, they're 44 inches apart and you got to hold it somehow. And I don't have a bench that long that I'm working on, so everything wanted to topple over. But I kind of fast forwarded there. I don't know if you noticed that. I'm close to being done now. It was just a process of getting, you know, the 4 corners done for 2 levels of rails. I can say, as this build is completing here, I am very happy with how this is going together. It is fairly sturdy. It's well built, and like I said, the instructions were really straightforward, other than the silliness of step 1, putting a sticker on. You know, if they wanted their sticker on their damn workbench, they should have put it on in the factory. I'm not putting that on, but that's just me. You may like it. So this is finishing up here, and then I'm going to show a very quick clip on how I put the feet on, and that'll end this video. Okay guys, welcome back. I did a little reading, which sometimes you have to do, and it's 4 per, so 16 bolts. I have 18 bolts and 18 nuts left, so the only thing I can think of is they give you a couple extra. Because there's no way I could use any more than 4 per corner and 4 per corner here. So, you know, because there's squared holes here, there's no way to put another one in here. So I'm going with, they just gave me a few extras, and I'm going to run with it. I do get nervous when I have extra bolts. That scares me. That's always a, uh-oh, what did I do? But I did RT-FM and found that there are extras, so it is what it is. I'm not happy with this slide mechanism being able to slide the complete length. I wish this bracket had squared holes at, say, half or 1 inch increments, so you had, say, 1, 2, 3 settings instead of completely up and down, because all the weight's going to be on this when the bench is flipped over, and I can see just 2 bolts here and 2 bolts here. I can see this sliding, so I'm not really happy with that, but you know, since I'm kind of going all the way down as far as I can go, I think it's going to be okay. We'll see how it goes. Alright, here we are putting the leg assemblies together. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly here, as it's basically 4 L-shaped brackets that each take 4 bolts. These are adjustable by spacing of about 3 inches that I showed you a bit earlier. Like I said, I wish there were individual holes instead of the sliding mechanism, but it is what it is. It's pretty sturdy. I'm going to bump forward here in a second and get you to the end of this, because it's literally 4 bars that all take 4 bolts, so it's pretty much the same thing over and over and over again. And here I am going around to the last leg and just tightening up. Okay guys, I got the first 3 feet on, and actually I did them all wrong, so I'm kind of doing a little voiceover here to explain that the first 3 are wrong and I fixed them later, and I'm going to explain now how I do the one properly. Obviously, you put the first one in like that, and that's actually raising me another 3/4 of an inch that I don't like. I might go back and do it the way I'm doing it, but let's do it the way the manual says, or it tried to say. So what you would do is adjust your height accordingly. So if you want to be at this height, you bring that nut to there, and then snug this one, you know, and then you'd take your wrench and because I want to be dead to the bottom. Let's do this. Okay, I'm going to fix the other three. Hey guys, real quick video here to end the first part of this build. The metal part of the bench is done. Very happy with it. It's very sturdy. The instructions for the most part were pretty darn good. Like I said, I struggled with these long rails. It took me about almost a half an hour to get the 4 long rails on. That was just the awkwardness of it. 2 guys could put this thing, or 2 gals, I shouldn't say guys. I say guys a lot, I'm sorry gals. 2 people can put this thing together in literally less than a half an hour if you knew what you were doing. Like, now that I've got the instructions down and I know how to do this, I could knock these things out in 15 minutes. It's that easy. The instructions were that good. I really like it. This is the height I'm going to go with my top. I'm actually down in the basement building the top now. I lost the footage of the final show here. That's why I'm doing one really quick so that I can get this first video up today for you. Real quick question, don't know the answer. I am using my basement camera for this. I think it looks better up here than the one I normally use up here. For camera guys, this is a Canon EOS M. I normally use a Panasonic G7 up here. Tell me what you think. I'd be interested to know. It's just an informational thing for me, but I'd like to make these things look as well as I can. So let me know what you think. Links to the Kreg parts will be in the description below. The top build will be coming out in a couple of days. Thanks for watching.